What you are seeing here is the current latest Apple TV device that I just bought in 2024, and this is the current Apple TV 4K. And if you go on Apple's website or at the Apple Store and try and buy the latest top of the range Apple TV device, this is the one that you're going to see. So this is the 128 gig version, and it comes with Ethernet. If you're trying to buy an Apple TV on the Apple Store in person or online, there's currently two models that are available, and they are both 4K resolution, but this 128 gig version or variant that's available supports Thread technology, and it has gigabit Ethernet, which the 64 gig version doesn't have. So this 128 gig variant is the one that I suggest or recommend that most people go for because of the Thread network support for HomeKit as well as the Ethernet, and that enables it to be more stable and responsive and user-friendly to other smart home environment devices. At the time I'm recording this video, you can see that the 64 gig version or variant is going for $129, and the 128 gig storage version is going for $149. So it's just a $20 difference, and you can see that they both have the A15 Bionic chip, and they come with a newly updated Siri remote with USB-C. Something to also keep in mind, if you want the 128 gig Ethernet variant Apple TV, if you don't buy it directly from Apple themselves and you buy from a third-party seller such as Costco or so on, you will still be able to get the 128 gig for the price of the 64 gig, which is something that I actually did when I was purchasing this Apple TV 4K. In 2024, at the time I'm recording this video, the current latest version that's being offered is also referred to as the 3rd gen. It's just slightly over a year old. I could have tried to wait for like a newer 4th gen, but these devices are built so robust and they are almost timeless, and so I just decided to get the current latest one that's available today. Already by just looking at the box right here, you can see some physical aspects have changed from the 2nd gen to this current 3rd gen that you see here. So already the box dimension is slightly smaller, and at the same time, if you look at the Apple TV box by itself, they have removed the wording TV besides the Apple logo, and they have the 4K written right here and the Apple TV, and this is in color, which was not there on the previous version. And you can see here there's nothing, and at the same on this side we have the 4K in color. If you're buying this Apple TV in Canada, which is the current location that I'm in, at the bottom of the box, you see that it comes both in English and it will have the French text as well. This is required by federal. So here it will say cinematic quality, and in French, it probably says qualité cinématique. Hopefully I said it right. Now, I will just quickly pull these two pull tabs that you see right here. If we open the box, comes off really slow. Okay, put it to the side, and you can see how the Apple TV device looks. It looks pretty good. No fingerprint. Let's put our thumb right there. It actually, you can see a little bit of the fingerprint, but it's a good thing that this is not a fingerprint magnet. But if you put on the reflective Apple TV logo right there, you can see how reflective that is, and my fingerprint is right there. So if the FBI is looking for me, you know where to find me. Let's remove the Apple TV box here. You can see how it looks. We'll get to it soon. And now if we were to lift this up like this, you can see this doesn't really have anything inside. It's just for shipping. If we go to the next part right here, you can see we have the power cord that comes with the Apple TV device. Next, we have some paperwork right here, and if we unbox it, now next in the box, you can see we have this indent inside. It doesn't really house anything. It's just there to raise the Apple TV remote higher for accessibility, and that's all we have in the box. Now this is the new Apple TV USB-C remote. If we are to go to the back and try and open it, you can see it just slides out pretty good. And right here and in the box there was no like USB-C cable that came with the remote. So if you have an iPhone 15 or 15 Pro, then you will need to use the USB-C cable that came with the iPhone to be able to charge this remote. So That's unfortunate, but at the same time, you can see here we have the microphone button. You can press and hold that to use your voice. Basically, the remote looks exactly the same from the previous generation. The only difference is the port here. The previous gen had Lightning and this third gen has USB-C. This is my old Apple TV and this is the new Apple TV third gen that I just bought in 2024. You can see here that this new one is slightly smaller, and to put it in perspective, there is no fan inside. So if we are to unbox it, you can see we don't have any openings here to allow airflow. So this is because the new chip that's in the Apple TV 4K is more power efficient and doesn't produce a lot of heat. So that's a good thing and one of the differences that's here. And now if we are to pull this pull tab, comes off seamless, and you can see here the ports that we have. If you're buying the 64 gig variant of the Apple TV 4K third gen in 2024, you won't have this middle Ethernet port. You still have your power port and your HDMI port, but not this. Also, you can see another difference from the previous gen, that this one has the TV text besides the Apple logo, while the new one doesn't have the engraving or the TV stamp. Compared to the previous one that had an A12 Bionic chip, this one has an A15 Bionic chip that's more efficient, like I mentioned. And because it's so efficient, there's no need for fans, and that was able to allow it to be made 20% thinner and about 50% lighter. If you have a TV that supports HDR10+, it's also supported now on the new Apple TV 3rd gen going forward. And if you have a TV that has that as an option, you'll be able to go into your settings and be able to select it. Because this surface is so reflective, I have a lot of fingerprints right there, as you can see from just touching the side. So that part is still the same. If you have an old HDMI cable that looks the same as the one that I have right here, that's probably not 4K or has been bent over the years, I actually recommend that you get a new HDMI cable. So this is the one that I got for the Apple TV 4K, and this one supports 4K, 8K and 10K, and it has a speed of up to 48 gigs per second. And right here you can see the length is enough for me to be able to hide it behind the TV, and at the same time you can see it supports 4K at about 120 FPS and 8K at 60 FPS, as well as 10K Ultra HD. So this is something that you might need to get for your new Apple TV if you are coming from a version or you are using a cable that isn't in the best shape. If your HDMI cable has polarity like this, and this is done in order to reduce noise, then you need to make sure that the source or the Apple TV is connected on this end and the arrow is pointing towards your TV or monitor that you are connecting to. I've connected my Apple TV device to a power source. During the setup process, you have this white indicator light that's on as a status to tell you that it's powered on. So this is the power connection that's connected, and the HDMI as well is connected. So let's go into the software and then I'll show you what's happening. You can see it's powering on and you have the Apple logo. Just give it a moment and it will revert back to the Apple TV. So the first thing that you come up to, or the first screen, is the hello screen. If you leave your Apple TV remote without touching it for a while, then that's gonna continue to give you the hello screen in many different languages. But it's also motion sensitive. When you raise up your Apple TV remote, it will automatically prompt you to input the language. But if you just leave it, then it will prompt you to hover over this middle center or just tap the center button. So I'll quickly select my language and confirm it as English, and then the region, I'm quickly going to select Canada. So it has auto populated, you can see right there, and that's something that's good. We'll click enter, and now this is the privacy data section, and this icon of the two people holding hands will appear when an Apple app or a feature is asking to use your permission. So I'm okay with that. And automatically set up your Apple TV. Use your iPhone or iPad to automatically add your Apple ID and Wi-Fi and other settings or set up manually. So you can set up with iPhone, or if you have an iPad, you can also set up with the iPad. So because I have an iPhone, I can continue on my iPhone, and I'll show you that just now. The moment I brought it in range close to the Apple TV, it automatically auto-populated this pop-up right here, set up your Apple TV, and it's able to sense that it's very close proximity to the Apple TV box. So I'll click here where it says set up your Apple TV, and it's connecting, and now it's prompting me to put in this code that you see here, 64, and you can see setting up your Apple TV, and you can see the logo the way it looks right there. Let's give it a moment. I'll just move myself to the corner so that I'm not all the way in the way. It's taking a little while, so just give it some time. The speed or how fast this screen is going to clear is going to depend on how many application settings and stuff you have on your Apple TV. And now you can see control your Apple TV with your iPhone. You can find the Apple TV remote in Control Center, open it to continue setup. So if I click on the iPhone where it says open remote, then it's going to auto populate the remote right here, and this is how the remote looks. But I'll just continue on my Apple TV actual physical remote. Following settings can be transferred from your 14 Pro, or you can customize them individually. Those are like use Siri with your voice dictations, and allowing applications to use your location and share analytics. So I'll click where it says continue. This is the app analytics, and you can select to not share or to share. Since I'm a developer beta tester, I always try and share in order to try and improve the software on these devices. So share with developers. And now this is the warranty. Click agree, and then this is the terms and conditions. Just click agree to that, and a require password. I always put require password, and now it's going into this setting up screen. Have a TV provider. Sign in once to access all of the apps supported by your cable or TV subscription at no additional cost. So you can always do this later. I use TELUS for most of my stuff, but for now I'll say not now. And you can see the different supported apps, by the way. So TELUS is supported. You have TELUS TV right there, and vMedia TV. This is if you are in Canada. If you are in the States, in India, Mexico, Germany, or other countries, your options might be slightly different. So I'll say not now for now, and click next. And now where is the Apple TV? So it's automatically detecting my location depending on the smart devices that I have. So this is the living room, but then you can see bedroom, entertainment, game, guest rooms, home theater, main bedroom, and so on. So for now, it's pretty good at detecting. So I'll select living room. Next is the Siri recognition, and yeah, I'll set recognize my voice. Click next, and then see the word. With the area screensavers, you can enjoy HD video of beautiful locations from all over the world. Additional videos can be downloaded automatically. So I usually just download these and they will begin to play automatically. So once I've done that, you can see the home page of my Apple TV. So because I had not been using my old Apple TV that you see here for a long time, the setup process for me is pretty quick, and most of the applications you can see have already downloaded. So no need for me to wait for most of other third-party applications to show up. And just to show you the version that shipped with my Apple TV, right here, if we go into the settings applications and then go to general and go to about, you can see the model number and the version as well as tvOS section. So it's tvOS 17.2 with a build number 21K365. Under the settings general tab, you have the ability to change from the type of screensavers you want to see. So if you want to use photos from your library, it will automatically add those. And if you want to use photos from Apple, you can select that. And from Apple, you can see you have flowers, and this is a glimpse of how flowers look. You can go to flowers. You can see landscape right there. You can see nature, or you can see different photos that are shot on iPhone. And a cool thing about this, if you use the hashtag shot on iPhone on Instagram and other social media platforms, some of these pictures that you're seeing on the screen, you'll be able to see there. So you can choose from there. And at the same time, if you go to home sharing, you can change who you want to share to. You can choose the appearance too. If you want dark, or if you select light, then this is how it's going to look. Or if you want, you can select automatic, and it will be able to tell your current geographical location and when sunrise and sunset is, and it will change that automatically. I will just keep it on auto. If you go into the video and audio settings right here, you can see you have the ability to choose video format. So mine is set to 1080p SDR. My monitor that I watch on is physically restricted, so I know my restrictions, and even though my capture card is 4K, I can still be able to select 4K 60, but it won't be the best, at least for me in my setup. But on your device, if you have 4K 60 or your monitor supports that, you can always select that, and you can see the other options that you have. If you have other formats, you can click there and you can see different resolutions as well and different aspect ratios. So it's pretty cool. And if you go back again and go to where it says audio output, you can also change that and the audio format as well. If you open up an application for the first time, for example, the Apple TV app, so I'll open it right there. I'll click continue, and right here you can see the different applications that I have I can download. And you already know, as a person who does YouTube, I'll be able to download YouTube. And if you don't want to search for an application, you can just press and hold the side microphone, YouTube, and boom. So it has now given me the different versions of YouTube. So after it's all said and done, that's the setup process and a few of the first settings that I look into when it comes to the Apple TV. Now, because this is a newer one, it supports most of the new features, I'll be using it more often, and I'll be doing more videos and tips and tricks and maybe tvOS updates here on the channel. I like that this new Apple TV remote has USB-C. It's something that we are seeing on all Apple devices, the iPhone, the Apple Pack charger, even the new iPads have USB-C, so this is something that's good. If you have the old second gen Apple TV, there really isn't much that's changed besides, of course, the new improved HomeKit support and the removal from Lightning to USB-C, which isn't a lot of changes. It's not one that I would be updating for if I had the second gen to the third gen. And at the same time, the new Apple TV box has been improved slightly with the smaller box design, and it's cheaper depending on your region, between $20 to $30, which is something that's good. So if you want to grab one, you can do that. And at the same time, it enhances your TV operating systems, because a lot of the newer TVs, even like the Sony or the Samsung TVs that are out there, the operating systems on them are not the best. And if you want something to improve that, and you're already in the Apple ecosystem with your iPhone, your Apple Watch, your iPads, there's no better device to get than the Apple TV, and the experience will be enhanced. So that's the new Apple TV 4K that I recently just purchased. Let me know what you think about this video, and definitely let me know what you want to see when it comes to tips and tricks with the new Apple TV 4K. And other than that, that's about it for me. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video pretty soon. Peace.